So development economics, a scam, or you felt like you realized it was BS after a month. What contributed to that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think not definitely not a scam. My people,
That's just me saying it.
yeah. No, 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 because for me, I think it was, I mean, a lot of people went through it and they enjoyed it, and some continue from my class did the PhD. But for me, like the reason I joined because I wanted to learn how do you move a country from a point A to point B. That's what I wanted to learn.
Like,
And so development economics is basically about that.
yeah.
Like it's this aspect of, you know, economics as a field, but a focus on the, development
Yeah.
focus and then all that. And so I go in there and I quickly realize, like if you think about it in the 1940s and then like the early 1960s, the early days of development, like even the Western here, like the way the development was going here was like this hockey stick.
Yeah.
Like it was just like they figuring out the system and then like boom, 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 like industrialization and all these things.
Yeah.
Like they were figuring out the development economics, like all the things that you need to use. And it felt like it was like these things that's happening.
Yeah.
And then and this is like, and this is where like it really became clear because I was taking this class and then like the teacher remember like showing that a graph where there's a hockey stick growth like in the gold they call it the golden year of like a development. Like the Western like US like all these Western countries were like benefiting from it. And then you look at the graph for the African country was like this straight line. Like for most of them, it was like this straight line that's like just not moving. And actually, some of them was actually going down. And so for me, it was like, yo, this and and then some of the classes and then the theories that like they're still pushing down on these countries today. Like my first months into it, I know this doesn't work. Like you run the system, you know it doesn't work. Like aid, for instance, like it doesn't work. It would never work. Has never worked.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of these things. You're like, wait, why are you pushing this down on people? Why are we talking about this when it doesn't work? I'm here to learn about things that work, the things that you use to get the hacky stick. Why didn't you leverage that for this or why is it flat or going down?
Because they use a Western model post World War II. It doesn't work for us.
No, 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 not even that. Like, not even that. The intention is basically clear that they don't want this flat to move. Like things that you know work, the theories that you know work, that you use, you did not use on these people, on this other sector, on this other part. Therefore, it will not, whatever you send into them is not working.
Yeah.
And for me, that was the thing. Like, whatever is happening right now, whatever
Yeah.
they're doing is not working. And then you know about this because, so for me, it was like, there's some, no, sorry, I don't want to learn about this. This is not what I came here for.
Yeah.
Oh, I had to make a decision because it's a 2-year program. Do I go through it or do I? No. So I decided I'm going to go through it. The reason I decided that is because I started reading about the diaspora. And then I'm like, my vision is still clear. My vision is still clear. I want to contribute in moving my people, my country, my society from a point A to point B. And at the end of the day, what I learned about development economics is like this idea for development, the fancy word development is nothing else making people's life better.
Yeah.
Like people's life, how do you improve people's life in that society, in that community, in that country? That's it. That's what it is. Yeah. And so when I broke it down that way, for me, it's like development economics, the way I was thinking, doesn't have to be the only way to do that. There's so many other ways. So this is my thinking, but like that's not the only route. There could be the different route. So that's when I started understanding about the diaspora, and it was like to me, it's like this is a community of people living somewhere that have like so much impact, that's so much wealth, has so much capital in the economic sense. You have a social capital. They have a financial capital. They have a human capital. They have a philanthropy capital. They have like political capital. They have all these assets that they can leverage to actually contribute of making people's life better, which is development. And so when I saw that, I'm like, oh, forget about development economics. This is my route.
Yeah.
And so I got really excited and I started reading about all the successful diaspora, like the Irish diaspora, for instance. Read a lot about them. Like, so you have this huge Irish community in the US, right? Like they moved there and they've been there for like generations.
Yeah.
And like now there's this idea of like the diaspora concept, like those who've been there are always like thinking about the Irish background and then like really resourcing. And then the Irish diaspora, there's like a people that started building this space and then like really talking about it and bringing, you know, the community back home to contribute in so many different ways, like all this and using all this capital and then it's been successful. And we're following these people. And it's the same thing for like, I think the Indian also did that. They commissioned something in 2000, big report, big research, and then leverage like, man, there's so many successful Indian in the US, in Silicon Valley, and then like, you know, all that stuff. And then they figured out how to tap into that community, right? So like, that's why you can see like so many successful Indian, you know, like in the US, but globally, like you think about Microsoft, like Google, and so like this, like, so for me, I was like, oh, that's dope. This is like my dream is still alive. Like actually now it's like, it's more,
Better.
it's better because it's about community and that's my space.
Yeah.
And so that's, you know, long story short, I decided to like focus on that. Like I was in part of the program, but like my whole focus was on that, on the diaspora understanding. I wrote my thesis about it so I can understand what goes behind the scene and all that stuff. And in the process of writing now the thesis where that I had to basically interview the African diaspora professionals and understand the capital that they have, this financial capital, human capital, and social capital, and how can you leverage that for the socio-economic development, you know, for not only for the countries of origin, but for me, that the part that I added to the how do they contribute also in the country they live in.
Yeah.
Right. And that aspect. And so like that led me to talk to so many people from the US to Germany to France to the Netherlands to Belgium, like all this diaspora. And that's where it's like, whoa, because I'm a you know, diaspora professional living in the US and Germany. And so I kind of understand because I was talking to other people to understand their experience. And I started realizing, man, like a couple of things. One of the biggest things, like I was like frustrated for like, man, I came to the US with so much energy, so much drive and this huge dream, but I had to put my head down. I had nobody to help me. I had no network. I had no connection. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have that system built where I could like Omek, like I could go tap into and be like, yo, I'm just came here. Can someone open this door? Can someone, like I didn't have that network. And I started realizing, interviewing people, like there's so many talented people, even from the Guinean community that live as successful, that live in the US. I'm like, I never heard of them. I've never heard of them. Like, so for me, it's like, yo, like these people even before me went through this. I went through this. Like the generation coming after me are also going to go through this. Like they never have access to me. I didn't have. So like, it's such a waste of time and potential. And so like, so that was the one thing. And the second, like, especially the younger generation that I was talking to, there was this energy, this drive about them to like being part of something that's bigger than themselves. They didn't have the same experience of that of their parents, like, or the previous generation. And so there was this energy that was like really like obvious. And so by the time I was done, like I could hear someone speaking in New York and finish their sentence. I know they're saying exactly the same thing like the person in Paris that I was interviewing or Berlin that I was interviewing, this drive. And so there's this younger generation that I call the bicultural, right?
And were they mostly of African descent or were they?
Yeah, I was talking to mostly the African descent, like in specific focus like on the Guinean community in that sense. And so that was there. And during the research as well, we came across this this article that's written by, you know, somebody from like from Harvard on the how you can help if you're basically the article is on the marketing angle. So like if you want to, for instance, if you have a company in let's say in India and you want to grow your company and scale it and then go global and then come to the UK or come into the US, one of the most easiest way to do it is to go through your diaspora. So as I was doing this diaspora research, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And so they basically were saying, you go through your diaspora and you can tap into them. And so they basically segmented this, from the marketing perspective, like their mindset and then the psychographic profile of them.
Okay.
And so I read it, I'm like, that's interesting. But because I've been a community building, because I understand the community, I'm like, let me leverage this framework and put on the African community. And so like, that was where, for me, that became a game changer. Because instead of grouping the African community that we always do, like every diaspora is grouped based on the geographic profile. Like you're from India, you're like Indian diaspora. You're from Asia, you have the Asian diaspora. You're from Africa and the African diaspora.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the geographic. And then within each diaspora, the African diaspora, you have like a African American, you have the classic diaspora through slavery.
Yeah.
And then you have the contemporary diaspora, like us, connected directly to the continent.
Yeah.
And so each group, you have African American, you have like the how to call it, from South Africa. I mean, South America, like the Brazilian, and we have like the Caribbean from Jamaica, like all this, and from continent you have like the regional West African. So it's like
there's so many. It's not a,
but it's like a geographic, right? From the basic geographic, and that's the basic thing. And so I leveraged, and I'm like, wait, let me use this psychographic on the diaspora, on the community. Right. And so basically dividing the community versus the geographic, but based on their psychographic, based on shared experience, based on their vision, based on their mindset. Okay. And so that, for me, that became a game changer. So I will call it the value segmentation today.
Okay.
And so what the value segmentation did for the African diaspora specifically is that we segmented the community into 4 groups. The first group is the classic immigrant, coming from back home, and they migrated just to have a better life, and then work hard, make money, and send money to their family back home and support them, like that classic, migration. So a lot of them, like, it doesn't matter whether they were educated back home or, like they just come in and they have like a very clear mind. They come in. They're going to work hard. They have a specific time frame. They're going to make money, and they're going to keep supporting their family, and they're going to go back one day.
Yeah.
Right? So when they come in, they put their head down, and they don't want to have anything to do with the society.
Yeah.
Like, they're not, what does that even mean, stir in the pot? Like, that's not, what I'm saying? Yeah. They put their head down. They find a job. They're grateful to be here. They're grateful to find a job. That's there. And then because they're here, these are cultural advocates. That's the group that they call them. So this cultural advocate, because they're here, their mindset here is work hard, support your family back home. Now they've been here for a while now. They have a family here as well, right? And do everything that you couldn't get and give that opportunity to your kid. So pay for the school, send them the best school that they can go to, whatever. Like, your life is about supporting, is about being at the service of other. Right? So that's a part of the mindset. The other part, because of here, is supporting each other. The community. So they go to church, they go to the mosque, and then the weekend, someone has a baby naming ceremony, someone have a wedding, like, you have anything, one for all for one. They're here, they put that. So that's the mindset they have. That's it. No social change, no social inequality, no social justice, no climate change, nothing external outside the thing. Right? Family, people, community. But there's like the group that's like kept the culture. The language, the food, the dress, they know everything. This is like the fountain of the culture and sitting here. Right? Because that's all they have. Then you have the second group. The second group are, I call them the uncles. The second group are, so each of this group, the value is different, right? The second group are like, think about like professor, university, or like they used to work in the government, or they were like doctor. They had like some status, this educated. And the reason they left is like, I'm going to go overseas to actually take it to the next level, right? And then create a better life for myself, professional, and then all that. and therefore for my family and you know.
Yeah.
And then they will come in a lot of the time, the West, they don't translate whatever professional background they have,
It's not.
right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of the time, like, classic example to this, like in US, I don't know how much like the yellow cab is there now, but like a lot of the yellow cab, especially in Canada, like a lot of the yellow cab driver, and you come in here, you do like whatever job that you have to do. And if you're a doctor or like you're a lawyer, they will say like you need to go to law school and then all this, like this, all the barrier. And then a lot of the time you have a family that you need to feed and your age is advanced. You cannot put up all that. So like everything that you have, you're working, you can't go back to school. Like, and then, so a lot of the time these people don't translate the career, the life, the social study they had here in the country, in the host country now. It's not translated. So they stay in that limbo. And a lot of the time, or many of them, like there's like this friction between, I had this social status here and I'm coming here and then my social status is down, but they don't have a time to contemplate all this because you still have to work, you have to find a way to, create a mean for your, and some can do it, but other, the vast majority, and then they pivot. They can have like business, small businesses, mom and pop store, or like different other function, like a job that's like really not their professional skill. But because they're educated, sometimes very, very well educated, they don't have the same social status as well, like with like the classic migrant that's not no education, just like, that in the first group. Right? So this group is like cultural affirmer, right? They're like really, it's almost this clash between the two culture.
Yeah, within themselves.
Within themselves. But like that's that culture coming in because they're always comparing the culture back home and this culture here because this doesn't embrace them.
Yeah.
Right? And so there's always that conflict. So they're always, my culture, oh my God, let me tell you, like my culture, oh my God. So like they dress, they like.
But usually like delayed. Like they crystallize the culture when they left.
Yes.
They didn't keep up.
Yeah.
No.
And like not even that because culture is dynamic. It keep moving.
Yeah.
But like it's like, but for them, like they really want to like they, especially comparing the two cultures. So like they're always elevating and they're always, their mindset, they're like very politically like involved, staying in touch of like the political situation, the economic situation. And a lot of them are like very vocal about what is happening and the more African. Usually I say like the joke that I have like the more African than even the African back home.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that they cling to because this culture here didn't embrace them so much. So they cling to this one. That's the social status they have. Right? So cultural affirmer, that's their mindset. Right? And so a lot of the time in this association, they are actually the head of like this community association. They will be in the leadership position in like this association. They will be in the leadership position in the churches and like the mosque and like all that stuff because of that. But their mindset is really different.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Makes sense.
Third group now, the kid from these two groups, the cultural affirmer and the cultural advocate, the kid from theirs are what I call the bicultural. That's the third group. So the bicultural were born here. Here means the host country, whatever their parents are living, right? Or they came when they were like really young with their parents.
Yeah.
But all they know, they grew up here.
Yeah.
Right? They grew up navigating, this is their culture, this is part of their society, this is part of like who they are.
Yeah.
But at the same time at home, like the Ghanaian or the Guinean or the Nigerian or the Surinamese, like whatever that, parents coming from, the culture of heritage is fed to them. Yeah. So they're navigating this culture constantly.
Yeah.
At home, the culture of heritage.
Yeah.
Step out of the door, the main culture, right? You're Dutch, you're French, you're like, and you're going back and forth.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time they're not conscious of this, but like naturally, it's just their lives. They just live, like they breathe. That's what they do. So like that's the bicultural. And then their experience is different from that of their parents. They're not coming with, and I don't want to use the baggage. They're not coming with any of this reference point.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not coming with any of this reference point. Their reference point starts here. Right. And so their problem is like, how do I fit in? Everything about me, I have like this, cultural sapien, like very apparent. I'm Black, I'm Asian, I'm like, I go out there, like, even though I'm born and raised, I speak the language, I don't have the accent and everything, but like, so I'm trying to figure out how do I fit into that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so their problem is like, how do I fit in?
Yeah.
Because they're like, you're not from here. And so like they have their own problem, set of problem, which is different from that of the parent.
Yeah.
And so like their mindset is totally different. So like one of the, especially now, this bicultural at this age, like the influencer, they're like creative, they're like professional, they're career, they're entrepreneurs. And now you get to a point where like in your 30s and then you like started facing these things that you can't avoid anymore. And they start realizing, oh wait, who am I? Because everything that you're putting out, it's coming from inside. And if that's like, there's no reconciliation, this is not a therapy session, but like, if there's no, it's not a strong reconciliation that it affects your output.
Yeah.
Right. And so like you can mask it at some point, but when you start like to get to the point where you want to be authentic and they want to like really make an impact. And that's the thing with the bicultural. They're like really thinking about making an impact. And then I was born and raised here. I'm a part of the fabric of this society.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to put up with the status quo anymore.
Yeah.
My parents don't care about like social justice and then like that's them. But me, social inequality, I'm not gonna put up it.
Yeah.
I was born here, I have an equal right. And so they have like this. And so when I was doing my interview, I was talking to the bicultural, that's what I was getting. Like they're like, yo, I'm building it.
Yeah.
I'm a creative, I'm gonna build it. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm gonna build it. I'm like this, I'm gonna make it happen. I'm not gonna wait, I'm not gonna ask for permission.
Yeah.
So they all were making it happen. And so by culture, that's the mindset. They're like, we can't do it. I don't care if there was a precedent. It don't matter.
Yes.
I'm not going to put up the status quo. I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah. That has, because the first time I heard you talk about biculturality, realizing that I'm a bicultural person myself, and you mentioned something about how people will try to tell you who you are. But if you don't know who you are, then it doesn't matter. And it rattled something in me of like, yeah, like I kept thinking I'm not Nigerian enough, I'm not American enough, but I'm not this enough. But it's like, no, you're an amalgamation of all those things. Like, and I relate to that desire to be like, I want to do something meaningful and impactful because I see something on the margins of society that people don't have the privilege to see because they're not moving between worlds like I do. And so I think that's where that drive comes from of like, no, I'm seeing something here. And it seems like no one else is.
No one sees it.
Yeah.
They don't have the capacity.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't have the capacity. Like as a bicultural, this is naturally built in you because you just lived in and you are not conscious of that. Yeah. Right? We're like this is normal part of your life. And a lot of the time, because of the society that you live in, you see as it's being portrayed to you as a negative.
Yeah.
Right? As a disadvantage.
Yeah.
I would rather be that blonde, whatever.
Or the person straight from that country.
Yeah, it would be so much easier because I was born here, I was raised here like them, but like there's something that's like, obviously I'm not. Yeah. So I have to figure it out to justify, I have to assimilate, I have to.
Yeah. I mean, my theory is that it's loneliness.
It creates all this. It creates all that. It creates the loneliness because your family, your parents don't understand your experience. They don't navigate that. They already made their thing. They come in, like if you're from like a cultural advocate, they already know exactly what they're here for to do, and it's clear to them.
Yeah.
Cultural affirmer, they have their own problem.
Yeah.
They actually look at you as like,
yeah,
because you're educated, so you have that aspect, but like you're embracing like the life here, and they don't have that. So like there's that you talk to them, they will put you down. The uncles, and so like and a lot of the time, if you don't understand that, it creates this friction between these parents, depending on which group the parent that you have.
Yeah.
Whether it's uncles, cultural affirmer, or it's like, cultural advocate. Like they don't understand your experience, and you're like, why are you doing this? Why? And then they were like, those who were intellectual, like always, because they came from like they were always trying to, they don't understand.
Yeah.
And so that's the loneliness at home, but you go outside, there's a loneliness there because your people, your friends, like don't understand. They don't have, none of these have the capacity.
And they belong with each other. Each group belongs with each other, and they know who they are.
These are different. Yeah, these are different cultural framework that you are the one navigating. And that's why when you come to Omek, you meet other bicultural, you're like, you don't even need to explain.
I'm like, exactly.
You don't need to speak.
Exactly. Yeah. Same.
It's like, finally, I have, and so that's the bicultural. And so when I came across this value segmentation, Like, yo, this is a game changer. Because as a bicultural, you need to know your space in this.
Yeah.
And then when you start understanding your things that are valuable to you,
Yeah.
your values are not the same thing as your parents' values.
Yeah.
Their values are important to them, but you don't understand it. Your value is important to you. They may not understand. But if you can understand their value and you know where they're coming from and you start appreciating them because they come to this country just because to give you a better life, to give other people a better life. They're sacrificing their whole life for that.
Yeah.
And they have the culture that you as a bicultural did not grow up with, did not understand fully. Because that cultural heritage is part of who you are. You want to understand that. You want to embrace that. And so who can you go to? Because you cannot just pack your thing today to go to Nigeria.
My mom would be very worried.
So you have your parents here, you have that community here that have that fountain of cultural knowledge that you need. You can go there and understand where they're coming from, what's important to them, what are their value, and then sit there and meet them where they are. You don't come there with your bicultural hat on.
Yeah.
You don't come there with that value to say like, no, let's go. Like, look what the government don't do.
Yeah.
Look at all this injustice. No. When you come to your bicultural people, you speak that language with them. You do that. When you come to them, you know their value, you know the sacrifice they're doing, you know what they have.
Yeah.
You meet them where they are. You basically giving them something that the society didn't give it them.
Yeah. And that really helps because I think that it gives you a sense of your strength. I think more than just understanding that you're bicultural, I think what really helped me was understanding that the liminality that I exist in is in itself a place to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like, what do you do with that? And I think for me, this segmentation for me is like, it's so important because the noises, the friction, the things that within our community is the thing that can solve that. Like I've explained this to some kids who were born here and they're like, yes, my parent, I don't, and I explained this, I'm like, they're like, oh my God, it completely changed their mindset because now they see their parent from a complete different lens.
Yeah.
Instead of you having all this, only your bicultural lens and looking at them from that perspective, it always be a friction because you don't speak the same language. You don't have the same values. But like when you take off that lens and then see where they come from, why they're doing what they're doing and why they're doing that, and you can meet them where they are. And once you meet them where they are, they will feel for the first time like valued. Their dignity has been taken away, but they don't care because as long they're providing for their family, but you come in here, you have a culture that I would kill to have. Your understanding of this culture, it would elevate me so much if I know that much. I appreciate who you are, what you have, and all that. Yeah. And so once you start meeting them there, it's a game changer. Like I honestly did this. When I was a community, my whole community building was like, I said the Guinean Association. So there's basically like geographic thing. Yeah. And then within that geographic, you have a people together. Me, like when I go to school, when I go to work, I'm working and helping people. Like I'm like negotiating millions of dollars. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's a different segment. Yeah.
That's a different life that I have there. I'm like very important. And then I go to the Guinean Association. I'm talking to people who are like cleaning in the night. Right? And so they come in and we sit in and we all discussing one thing. Yeah. And I'm coming from a different background. And so if I come in with that hat on, whether I know it or don't know it, conscious or subconscious, I'm coming in as arrogant.
Yeah. And alienating them.
Alienating them.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time that creates friction and they see them. Like when I open my mouth, like this, it happened. And a lot of literally one time I was like, we had this expert coming to work and then giving us all this expertise, like how we build a strategy. And I'm like, this is amazing. I'm taking that template and we're doing a big project in our community. I'm going to bring that. And I bring that, like, people are like, no. I was so excited and so like pumped up. They're like, no. And then finally one guy was like, why are you saying no? I'm saying no because you said it. And it took me back and I was like, what? But because I'm a community builder and I didn't quit, but I was like, this is hard. Like they don't get it. when I got this bicultural identity thing, and I'm like, yes.
I'm wearing the lens.
I'm wearing the lens. I'm coming in here, and it was so hard. So what I did when I went to Germany, I had this, and the community, Guinean Community Association, I go in there, completely remove my bicultural hat. They don't even know what I do professionally. I go, I meet them where they are. None of them knew what I was doing professionally. I meet them where they are. They love, we'll come for the meeting. The meeting is scheduled for 2 hours. We'll have a social chat for an hour and a half. Hour and a half, sometime like way more. And we come in like, this is our weekly meeting or monthly meeting.
Yeah.
And we know we have to leave in 2 hours. We'll go first, buy the chicken and come and sit and eat chicken and talk and chat and everything but the meeting. And then last 30 minutes, I'm like, let's have a meeting. And then my bicultural in me will be like, why are we wasting the time?
Like an hour and a half, that give me a headache.
Like, guess what? I'm like, I love chicken more than all of you. We cannot have a meeting without having a chicken. I took over the chicken thing. Okay. They were like, we can't have a meeting without having chicken because Kemo wants a chicken. So I met them where they are. And then I'm like, yo, I enjoy eating chicken with y'all. Yeah. And then we will talk about anything. If it's a 5-minute left, we're going to have a meeting. We're going to have a meeting. We're going to do that meeting. Yeah. And like, yeah, they respected me because like, even in that meeting, the way I'll talk and then the idea that I bring, but because I met them where they are, literally in a couple of months, they're like, you have to be our leader. I'm like, I just got here. I can't be like, you have no choice. We're not voting on this. There's no, like, that's the kind of, I'm like, oh my God, I wish I knew this.
Then I see a little bit then of this like natural leadership then that comes with biculturality, because I see more than just, oh, you do have to take off your bicultural lens to be able to relate to these segments. But there's this natural leadership that comes with the loneliness of existing between two worlds and navigating them. And then as you get older and you know yourself a little bit more, you're like, oh, that's my strength, my ability to, because I don't see the other two groups being able to be as flexible as biculturals are.
Yeah.
And so then how did that inform your process of creating a community of just biculturals? Like, how did you land on that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So basically, like when I really got into this idea and understanding of the bicultural and the desire and the drive and who they are and what are they doing, like the person doing in France and Belgium, like the entrepreneurship and then like this energy of like, we want to be part of something that's bigger than ourselves. Yeah. Which like, this is who I am. Like, I'm just hearing other people and then now realizing there's a lot more people out there. And for me, it was obvious, like, I need to, first, I saw myself as in the privileged space. Yeah. In privilege in the sense where I was talking to people in France, in Germany, like in Paris, New York, like it did, you know, Frankfurt or like Amsterdam, and they were all speaking the same language. And I could finish the sentence, right? And I felt like, yo, you're all speaking, you're all saying the same thing, right? And I was privileged because I was a connecting point. Yeah. And I'm like, what if I were to remove this black box and normalize this privilege that I have? So everybody have the same privilege of seeing like this person over there and over here, and then doing this. And so for me, it was like really clear. Let me normalize this privilege that I have. Like we remove the black box and everybody become able to see each other anywhere, anytime. So that was the genesis of Omek. Okay. Let's go build this space, because when we see each other, we start to talk to each other. Yeah. When we start to talk to each other, we start to build a rapport. Yeah. When we start to build a rapport, we start to build trust. Yeah. And when we build trust, we start to like saying, hey, how can I help you with this? Where can I contribute in here? Yeah. How can we collaborate? How can we do that? And once we get at that point, the sky is the limit, because there's already a desire, there's a skill, there's an expertise, there's all this, because you're all doing your own thing. Yeah. Like the things like we don't see each other. Yeah. So the fact that once we start seeing each other, this linear thing is going to happen. We see each other, we talk to each other, we build a rapport, we build trust, we start building trust, we start collaborating. When we collaborate, sky is the limit. It's like, okay, this is the thing, this is go. I need to build this thing.
Yeah.
First, I look around, I couldn't find this exactly tailored to this idea, this concept. Everybody was building. I built so many community from the geographic perspective,
Yeah.
but no one was building from this. Like,
The
this is the thing that brings us together. This is a common language that we speak.
Yeah.
We don't come together, we're not going to be successful. And it hasn't always been successful. The geographic community building has its own challenges because of the noises that come in. You have people coming from different, think about all these three groups. We didn't even talk about the fourth group, but think about all this group, different values, different mindset, basically different language they speak. But like when you think about the Nigerian association, the Guinean association, any association, the Somali and the Surinamese association, you have all this group, different mindset together in the one bucket.
Yeah. They're all biculturals.
Like the people, you bring them together, and then because you're all from Guinea or you're from Nigeria, and so like they expect you to work together. You can't work with these people because you don't speak the same language.
Yeah.
That was the same thing with me. Like the person saying, I am saying no just because you said it.
It's like, wait, what?
Right? Yeah. And so that project is never going to go forward. Never. Right? And so when you segment people that way, biculturals come together, I'll bring a strategy. You'll be like, yo, that's amazing. Like, oh my God, can we find a marketing person to come in here? Can we find this person? We going for, we figured out.
Yeah.
And so this group here work because they value so much the social aspect, the social capital, and you bring them together and they do that. This group, you bring them together and they do that. When you, as a bicultural, now that you have the capacity to understand, you can come and meet them where they are. And now they respect you and you respect them. And then you can meet them where they are. They respect you, respect. So bicultural are like are in such a important position, not only our community to remove the noise, the disconnect between the different segments based on the value, but also externally. So from that way, that's where the Omek idea, like, let's build a space for bicultural to come in. And so once we start building that space, then I started like really studying this concept of bicultural identity. And it just became I
think you have a PhD in it.
Like at this point, like literally, and the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know about, because this is not something people are talking about.
No.
And then like at the end of the day, bicultural identity is an unfair advantage. It's a superpower.
Yeah.
If you know how to leverage it. If you don't know, it will be a disadvantage. Like it actually be such a lonely place, such a frustrating place, such a traumatic place. If you don't know. And that's why I always start my conversation when I do a bicultural discussion. If you don't know who you are, people will always tend to tell you who you're supposed to be. Always.
I needed this 10 years ago. So interesting, because for me too, when I got introduced to the concept of biculturality and I heard you talk about it for the first time, and when you said that piece you just said, that was what rattled me of like, that's the missing piece I've been looking for my whole life. I kept waiting for something to tell me that I was enough of X, Y, and Z. And in the early conversations that I've heard you talk, it changed my perspective of like, no, I don't need to, I am who I am, period. And who I am really actually in understanding the leverage and the superpower that comes with biculturality is someone that can very comfortably navigate uncertainty, unpredictability, different cultures, different languages, different perspectives, while maintaining my own. That is a soft skill that comes from a lot of loneliness, a lot of not knowing who you are, a lot of navigating complexity. That in reframing it that way, because we've talked a lot about perspective shift and how that determines your mindset and how you grow and how you take things in stride. That has changed my life and my perspective and has helped me understand actually my potential. So in building Omek and in being a part of the Omek community and seeing what you've done with Omek, I hope you understand that what I've, at least for me, and I'm sure I can speak for a lot of people in the community, not only giving the language to understand who we are, you've taken a lot of lonely people who didn't know who they were, and you gave them you gave them back their identity and said, no, this, you know, you already know who you are, actually. And you are this person that can do these amazing things, and you have a really important role to play. And that, beyond a professional community or networking community, is a really powerful thing to give to somebody.
Yeah, thank you.
And it's really helped me a lot reframe a lot of things. I'm just like, yeah, I'm powerful. I can do a lot of really cool things. And so when you started Omek, and when you started bringing people together from this bicultural lens, how did you continue to grow it? Like, how, because I'm sure at the beginning you're like, okay, I have this cool idea, like, we'll see how it works. What made it start to seem to you, oh, this makes sense.
Yeah.
This is working. Like, what caused that?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, so basically when we went, again, this stemmed from the thesis, and then like, yeah, this have to happen. And I started like talking, even my friends at the time were like, yo, this could happen. They like, even when we meet today, they were like, yo, Kemo, you had this, you remember when we were talking about it? Yeah, like I just couldn't stop talking about it. And for me, it was like the idea of this black box, right?
Yeah.
And there's a need there. I see the energy, I see the drive. And so we decided actually to move to Germany, from Germany to the Netherlands, to Amsterdam specifically, to build Omek.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the reason. Kes, quit her job. Was like, yo, let's go. We got to try it. Because like let's go to Amsterdam.
And why Amsterdam?
So basically Amsterdam, because we're like living as an expat in Germany, from the US, as a US citizen, we came to Germany. Netherlands has a couple of reasons. One, as an American coming here, you have like this treaty between US and the Netherlands, and then DAFT, and so it make it a lot easier to work.
Yeah.
Now like be here as an entrepreneur or a freelancer, and then you get a work visa through that, which big part of the paperwork support in that way. But also I was focusing on biculturals of African descent, and I feel like Netherlands, specifically Amsterdam, has like a very beautiful sampling of my community here. Big Caribbean community, like from Suriname and Curacao, here.
A lot of us here.
big African community, from contemporary African diaspora, from like Ghana, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Morocco, and then all that.
Yeah.
Very a growing community of African Americans moving here. And so I'm like, oh, this is my target audience. Like, they're here, and a lot of them are like also involved in work, professional entrepreneurship. I'm like, oh, so that was a big reason as well, to have that access to my target audience. But also Amsterdam speaks English, so that was like,
I'm not learning another language.
At least I can start Omek from that perspective. So those are like a three big reason.
Okay.
So came here, okay, you have a great idea, but you have to test it out. But as a community builder, again, this always coming back. We moved here, literally, we pack our stuff to come to Amsterdam. We didn't know anybody. Like I say, like from the Omek community, like we only knew one person. Kes has a cousin here that's been here a long time. And so that's the person that we actually knew. But beside that, no one from the Omek, no one. Like we come in here, I raised my hand on Facebook, like, hey, I'm coming. I was on Facebook group. I'm coming to Amsterdam. Anybody in the Netherlands, anybody like here in this group, someone was like, yo, I'm here. Let me know when you're in town. I came here to happen to be like the best human being that you have. Like, let me know what like a big social network, big connection. Martha, shout out to you. And she's like, Kemo, let me know how I can help you. Like, I'll open my network to you. I'll help you. I'll do whatever. And for me, that was actually a first testament of like why Omek should exist. Because I've been always helping other people, building community and all that places, to be able to come in a place where someone have a social network here and then everything, and be like, I'll open my network to you. Let me know how I can help you. And then that, for me, that was like, oh my God. Imagine if we normalize this. I want thousands and thousands of people like this. When you move somewhere, before you even get there, you build that network, that connection. When I went to Germany, because I didn't have that, again, remember that friction that I had, like, no, I'm not coming here as an immigrant again. Like, I have a social status. I can come and then start participating in the social value creation.
Yeah.
And so, like, she was opening that door for me.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I need more people like this. So that even gave a validation to Omek.
Yeah, you're like, oh, it needs to exist.
This needs to exist. We need more Martha. We need more people like this that can keep opening the door. So like, it doesn't matter where I go on earth. I can find my people there. I can find my bicultural people that's doing the thing that I'm doing, that speak the language that I speak,
Yeah.
right? And then I can integrate in the society like this.
Yeah.
And so like, okay, cool, let's go. And so we started doing a couple of events and then just talking about this concept of like bicultural identity at the event and like what is important, like what is the power of it, like the drive, the energy. But for me, I already knew if you bring people, bicultural people in the room. So I'm not organizing an event to say like Black people or event to say African people or event to say like from the demographic perspective. I'm very specific on this mindset.
Yes.
This is here for this mindset.
Yeah.
So that way it filters out the value segmentation. So it was only attracting bicultural to come in the room. And so that was a common denominator. And people started getting in the room and it's like, hey, you exist. Oh, you exist. Oh my God, you're in this space. Oh my God, you're doing this. Our first meeting, I'm telling you, I was just like standing there and watching people and people were telling me like how they feel back to me. I'm like, yo, I've been doing.
Yeah, you're like, you're me. You're exactly me.
It went crazy from there. And I was like, oh, this need to exist like way, way long time ago.
You got a lot of excitement.
Yeah, we got the excitement and the people like seeing people excited. Like I've been living here for 30 years. For 20 years, I've never been in space like that where there's so many people want to help you and want to do this, like so nice and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yo, that's a bicultural common characteristic in the background. And so like, yeah, it had to exist. And we started building from there. People started volunteering like, yo, we want to be here. How can I help? How can I contribute? And little by little, it's like building the team from there, organize more event, organize more, energy, started building the momentum. COVID hit, and that actually was supposed to be hard, but it became like the blessing in the sky because everybody was stuck home.
Yeah.
Especially like the single people, like now you realize you can't get out and you by there, but here, so we are like organizing, everybody was looking at us to organize events. So we'll organize like a session online and people just come in and connect with us. But when our summits, like, people show up and then George Floyd happened and that was also people were like stuck and that became another level and then we'll organize a lot of conversation in that and then like globally people started joining and created this safe space to have this so it's just by the time we came out of some COVID and it's like it was like not only the Netherlands focus, it just quickly became like a global phenomenon. So
I love that. I think it's been really amazing to hear the journey and to see that your experiment worked. Obviously hindsight is 2020, but yeah, of course it works. It's with biculturals and you had a vision and you went for it. And I think it's really amazing, to hear the story of how it came to be through you and through Cass. To close things out, where do you envision, where's Omek now in your mind in terms of where it started to where it's grown to what it's grown to be? But where also do you see Omek growing more into? Do you feel like comfortable with where it's at right now, or do you have a perspective shift now that your initial experiment was successful?
No, we're just getting started. Like Omek is basically just started crawling.
Yeah.
Like this baby, like, yeah, I was,
How many years?
7 years now.
6-year-old.
Yeah.
It's
like 6 years. No, it's still crawling. I think the way it's going to go and the way it's supposed to be in like the age, it's not walking yet. It's just like, yeah, crawling. And it's actually figuring out how to move, crawl. Like that's the age because where we want to go. But like the vision is still clear. For me, it's still the same thing. How do I move my people, my community, my country, continent from a point A to point B? Like when I look at it from the bigger picture, it's like, how do you put the continents and people in the rightful place? Yeah. And how do I contribute into that? Like Omek is only a small, tiny, and for me, Omek is a privilege that I happen to be part of, because this movement is bigger than, it's not about me. Like it's bigger than, so I'm just happy to be part of it. And I want to push as much as I can to contribute into that bigger movement that's happening, into moving the continent and its global people into the rightful place. Right. And so that's the bigger picture. And so like, what does Omek play in that? Like, how does that look like? Want to leverage the bicultural identity. One, for bicultural to know like this superpower they have within them. How do you harness it? You cannot harness it if you're not aware of it. You have to be aware of it. You have to be on the journey. Like you just on the first step of your journey, you're just aware of it now, right? And now there's like this journey that you have to be on to go from like understanding, being aware, to like knowing how do you leverage it, how do you harness it, how do you put it together, to like get to the point of like mastering it and being able to like leverage it whenever you want, however you want, wherever you want. And that's where like really the superpower comes in. And so I want to get bicultural on that journey. When they get to like that leveraging space, it doesn't matter if you're creative, it doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter what field you're in, you're a politician or anything, you can tap into this and create the society that we want. And so like, how do you create these future transformational leaders? So like everything that we're creating right now, the Omek platform, the Omek saying, it's like, that's the vision that we have. That's where we're going. Like, you know, so if you look at Omek vision, like how do we create a world where bicultural make decisions that shape like the future of a global economy, but also culture. So they need to be in this room, whether it's existing room that they come in, whether they're creating this room themselves, whatever, but like where the global decisions are made to shape the culture. And then we want biculture to be in that room. But like, again, right now, if you take people to put in them that room, which more people are going in this room, but if you don't know who you are, the society will tell you who you're supposed to be. A lot of the time, those people are actually worse than not having them in this room. We've seen those, right? So if you do this work, if you're like empowered by culture to tell them like, yo, what do you have the capacity that you have other people don't? So you have the obligation to own it, to learn it, to harness it, to like tap into it, so you can make the society a better place. And so that's the journey that Omek is on. So we're so far away from that. That's why this baby is just crawling. It's gonna start walking, and it's gonna start running, and it's gonna start jumping all over the place. And watch out, man. Well, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense, and I thank you. I just want to say thank you so much for coming today and for talking about Omek and for explaining the journey and how you got here and the humility that you've shown in the face of something that, from my perspective, seems really great already. You know what I mean? But obviously, when you're really close to it, when you're really close to the process, you don't really see what other people are saying. And let me tell you, from a personal note, Omek has been that for me. I moved here about 4 months ago, and it's sped run a lot of things for me that wouldn't have happened if not for the Omek platform, the Omek community. So I know that you have a bigger vision for its future, for what it really needs to be. But let me be a testament to the fact that it's working in the way that you had envisioned it, like you made it real. And what you and Cass have worked on, and the community that you've built, and you know, it's so funny, you may not see this, but the same way that your parents were demonstrating how to be and managing this large community, you and Cass function in that way. You're leading by example. And so I hope you understand where you're at right now.
Thanks for saying that. Thanks for saying that. And also, like, I think we didn't emphasize a lot on this. Like I gave my mom all the flower for like the things that my dad accomplished, but like it's the same thing with my relationship too. Like there will be no Omek without Kes.
She's amazing.
Like people in our circle, like your mom, and like everybody knows that, but like just for the people on the podcast, like they were like, who's Kes? But like anyway,
Kes is Kemo's wife, and she's extraordinary.
There will be no Omek without her. Like it's period, point, as simple as that. I mean, like I go everywhere and I tell people like I'm just the front, like the back is like Kes and Sandra and the whole Omek team, and then we have We have an army of volunteer. We have an army of freelancer. We have an army of community. Like what is happening, this is like not me. Like I just enjoy the role that's given to me.
Yeah.
Just go say what we tell you to do, which I don't do all the time. I don't follow us. So I enjoy my part. Like I'm an extrovert.
Yeah.
Put me in front. Let me go talk to people. Let me be the head. And it's about like the work is done by the community. And therefore that's the part I'm like really proud of Omek. Like it's like literally by us, for us. And that's our superpower, because everybody in the Omek team is bicultural. So we're building this place for ourselves. The event that we do, we organize it because we want to. We want to be around the people. Like, I met your mom through Omek. Like, if there's anything, meeting like a human being like that, like, it's just like, there's so much, like I'm benefiting from it. Yeah. We as a team is benefiting from it. It's like we're building it for us. And that's the privilege. So
yeah, that's true. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for coming today. Thank you for speaking with us. Thank you for this amazing conversation. Thank you to everyone that's been listening to us. Thank you for listening to Interesting People of Earth. If you want to look up Kemo and follow him on Instagram, Kemo, you can give us your handle. But for Omek, you can follow at my_Omek for Instagram. And they also have a LinkedIn. What's your Instagram?
Mine?
Yeah.
I'm Kemo Kamara.
Just Kemo Kamara on Instagram.
I am. No, I am. Put it. I am in it. I think there's a lot of Kemo Kamara.
Kemo Kamara on Instagram. Thank you, everyone, for listening to Interesting People of Earth. I'm your host, Ani, and we'll talk soon.